Hello, everyone. It's been too long. We missed a couple of these live streams, and I missed you guys as well. We had so much things to do. We went to a conference in July, and then we had summer, and it was all great, but we needed to take a little break from this. But now we're back, and we have a pretty cool program for you. We have so much to catch up on that it's like we have a lot of team members talking about things for you today. We're bringing in a very well-known community member as well, so that's very exciting. But we are going to do things a little different than usual because, as you may have noticed, we recently introduced some pricing changes, and we felt it would be good to have a chat about that. And so we talked with Jan Oberhauser, our founder and CEO, to look like what are the concerns in our community, and we'd really like to take some time to address them with you. So for our next section, I'd like to go to Jan. After that, we dive into community updates, and then we have product updates for you as well as usual. And afterwards, as always, we have a hangout, an after party on Google Meet, where everyone can chat together and share their projects, etc. So yeah, without further ado, I'd like to bring Jan to the show. Let's see where he is. Here we go. Hello, Jan. How are you doing? Jan, can you hear me?
Good. I'm not sure, is my internet connection okay? Because for some reason you're breaking up for me. Hello?
Okay. Yeah, it seems fine. Yeah.
Yes, answer my question. Hello? Does it work?
Do a quick check with the rest.
Doesn't work. 1 second.
Is my connection okay for the rest of you, team?
1 second, I go to the other internet.
The other internet.
I hope we have some more luck there.
Yeah.
Bad timing.
Yeah. So while Jan is finding better internet connection, maybe I can give a quick introduction here. So it was just 2 weeks ago that we made this change. We were and he's completely gone now. We did two things at once. One, we removed the number of active workflows on our cloud and enterprise plans, and two, we introduced a new plan. And I think the combination of these two generated some confusion. So yeah, today is really meant to take away some of the concerns and to also show that we are listening and we know what is going on. And sorry, I'm just a bit distracted with some messages I'm getting. I hope Jan will be here again soon. So while Jan is doing that, I would, so last time I had a bit of a drink when we reached 1,000 people. I decided not to have alcohol on the show again today, but I did bring a very typical German or Berlin drink that we always have at the office. So I bought myself one to stay properly caffeinated for this session. And I think it helps bring Jan back as well. Let's see. Hey, Jan, can you hear me better now?
Yes.
It's all right. Right.
Best time ever.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it always happens during these shows, so no problem. I gave a very quick introduction about what we did, but let's take it from the start again. And so, Jan, let's recap first what we did 2 weeks ago when we relaunched our new pricing and new plan.
Sure. We made a few changes. First on cloud, like we removed the workflow limits. Like before, we charge per active workflow and per executions. Now we just charge per executions. We added an additional plan. Now we have like a business plan. So we kind of added a step between like the free community version and the full-fledged enterprise version, because it was honestly also quite a big step from between paying nothing and paying a lot of money. And it gives now people access to some enterprise features, and they can self-host it, but at a lower price. We also changed our enterprise pricing. In the past, we charge per active workflow. Now we only charge also per executions there. So more or less what we did is kind of clean stuff up, like the past was slightly a mess. Kind of we charge differently depending on how we're using it. And again, on cloud, we charge both per execution and active workflows. Enterprise, we charge only per active workflows, and now it's consistent across everything.
Right. And so yeah, the fact that we limited the number of active workflows was kind of stopping people from exploring n8n further, right? It was a really artificial, strange limit. Can you Can you tell a bit about that?
Sure, yeah. Like one of the reasons why we made those changes is because we talked obviously with a lot of organizations, and what we saw very often is that people said, hey, we really want to use n8n more in the organization, and what the organizations wanted and what we wanted was very much aligned. What both sides wanted is that they bring n8n into an organization and they can just say, hey, now go build. Like build as much as you want. The problem we always had with this active workflow limit was that they brought n8n into an organization, but because we charged per active workflow, like it wasn't a tool you would give everybody in your organization access to. It was also the tool where you literally say, can I go build and go crazy? What rather happened is because people built rather bought like a small amount of workflows more closer to what they needed, and with some headrooms, they were quite restrictive at giving people access to those active workflows, and that is why it just made so much more sense to really kind of make sure people can build as much as possible, and even like do use cases and just experiment a little bit. It's just some things that are maybe it was never a problem for this use case where like provided very obviously a lot of value, but there was so many other things that would have provided value that simply didn't make sense back then with the pricing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I also always found that people were a bit confused about using sub workflows, for example, and these were always already included. Those were not counted as active workflows or as separate executions, right?
That didn't change. Yeah, I think sub workflows never counted as active workflows, and also if you have like 10 different sub workflows, it's all just one execution through. Also, if you have like a workflow that's waiting, for example, and gets restarted, it's also just one single execution.
Yeah, so that already encouraged people to like build more and build in a cleaner, more professional way, and that aligns with this change as well, I would think.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So also we introduced a new business plan, so that was the second change, and that, as you said, it's positioned between the free version and the enterprise version, which is a huge step from free. And so where is that positioned? How would you say, like, what is our intended kind of user for that?
The end, like what we want with the business plan, like I mentioned before, we had like a lot of organizations started with free, and then it kind of grew, and they wanted to get access to this enterprise features. Then the problem was the only thing we had was literally the enterprise plan, and as the name says, it was built for enterprises, which literally kind of excluded all the people that were in between, especially a lot of SMBs and even above SMBs, because the pricing was again never intended for them. So all the organization with 20 people, 50, even a few hundred, it was very often still too expensive for them, and that's why we kind of wanted to have the kind of on-ramp. We give access to all the features those organizations need, and then still have this other step for these large organizations with additional features they require, but obviously at very different pricing points.
Yeah, so that does allow you to start collaborating in smaller teams and use those kind of features. And for people who are listening in, SMB is kind of like the internal business speak for small to medium businesses, which sits between like individual users and larger companies. Okay, that all makes sense, Jan. But of course, not everything went perfectly with this launch, right? And there were some like misunderstandings and some concerns. And I think the number one concern that I saw and that I can understand is that people are concerned about what does this mean for the community edition, right? Is it gonna disappear at some point? We were not clear enough, I think, in our comms there. But what is the future of the community edition?
Again, nothing at all changed there. It's like we are still very committed. Like in the end, is the community version the thing that's driving all the growth. Was the thing that kind of made n8n large, and that's where we get all the adoption. Like I'm not sure if everybody knows it, but the thing how we get into the most organizations is through the community version. Like it's either people using n8n privately, which is doing things like home automation or kind of automating other cool stuff, or people just starting with simple use cases in the organizations. And then either they bring it again from the private use case in this organization, or this kind of small use case in the organizations grow. And that is literally how we could always kind of punch way above our weight. Despite like we never would have been able to get into like big Fortune 500 companies or big governments like we are today, having it done top down is only possible by this kind of amazing community adoption, where people literally kind of love the product and bring it in this big organizations and kind of making sure be a part of the organization, a part of the conversation. To me, we're never going to take, but two things make it very clear. First, like the community plan is not going away. one thing I think I said a lot in forums and other things, but I think we never probably put on the page somewhere, is like we're never going to take any free features away. It's like what is available for free will stay for free. And also one thing that's probably also not very clear from the outside is like, I can understand when people see kind of this amazing enterprise features and say, hey, I really want to have that. It's totally fair, but I think people have the misconception that we put like much more resources on the enterprise side of things than we're actually doing. It's like if you look across our engineering team, roughly 70% of the resources actually working on the free version, only 30% working on the enterprise ones, even less, and actually even more work on the free version if you kind of remove the people that take care about the cloud and make sure like our infrastructure is working. That means like we definitely put a lot of resources in there. And again, why it doesn't matter is again why we're doing that is exactly for that reason. Like everything we obviously put in the free version makes experience better for people privately, for the small organization, and for the large organizations. Every resource you put in the enterprise side of things only makes it better for a subset of those users. That's why again this split between resources makes definitely a lot of sense. And again, we're very committed to the enterprise, to the enterprise people by obviously providing those features. But again, what was always at the center of n8n was really kind of our communities, right? This community version, especially free one that anybody can use without restrictions, is not going away.
Yeah. 70% is pretty amazing, and I don't think a lot of people know that, but we have over 40 engineers on our team. So that is 70% of 40 is. Oh, this is a good question. But 30 people working on the free version, right? So that's a lot of that. That's way more people than you would ever have on an open source project without funding as well. So that kind of shows how the whole loop works. We do need to have paid features in order to provide a great free product as well.
And also, like, it's also expanding. It's like it's 43 people as of today. Like the team is growing.
I know. At the rate we're growing, it's quite amazing. Yeah. Hey, and so myself, I also come from an open source background, and I know the sentiment that you sometimes get there. And people are always worried that once you bring in big money, when you bring in venture capital, things might change, right? And so you explained the importance of our free version. I feel you already kind of answered my next question, but like, what is our position of our investors in the free version?
Yeah, I think I think there are a few misconceptions. I think first one is probably that the investors are always bad. It's actually not the case at all. They're normal human beings that are actually very aligned. It's like when I talk with investors, like the things they're excited about, it's obviously nice if our revenue is growing. But the most amazing thing, like why they get excited about, is the community. It's like that is again what makes n8n special. It's like when they look into our community forum, when they look on LinkedIn and see all the great stuff people are building and posting, if they look on Reddit, it's like that is where people why they buy into n8n, because they believe in a community. It means like maybe people think, hey, we got pressure, that's why we we optimize for revenues, which is actually it's not true at all. Like actually with the pricing change, we're actually losing money, because before we charged per execution the active workflows, and people paid for actually additional active workflows, and they upgraded for more workflows. So it means like people downgrade now, and we kind of removed all of this additional charges. So we're actually losing money. Also, why we are doing that, it's important to point out the reason for that is what is in our internal North Star metric. Like what the main North Star metric we're currently optimizing for is weekly active workflows, like more or less adoption. Like we know what's important. It's like we want to capture the market. We want to make sure that as many people out there as possible start to build with n8n. And obviously, if we can do two things, we can either optimize for adoption, or we can optimize for short-term revenues. Short-term revenues makes obviously great in the short term, like the name says. But again, what's most important thing, getting the building part right again. That's why it made sense to kind of change the way we are pricing, because again, when the most important thing for us is weekly active workflows, we cannot limit by active workflows, because we want to make sure that people build as much as possible. And the other thing is like, again, people thinking, as I mentioned before, that we got investor pressure to do that. It was actually very much the opposite. I even got a call from one of our latest investors, who actually was a little bit worried about the pricing change, because he was just wondering like if that's the right thing to do. Again, if we are doing it for this revenue reasons, which I thought, no, it's not. Again, it's about optimizing to make sure like we get as much use as possible. So it's like it's definitely not investor pressure. And actually, especially when I talk with investors right now, I tell all of them it's not right now about making sure we have X more revenue end of the year. I actually totally fine if we're having less revenue end of the year. What's more important is that we get adoption and then optimizing for what's the revenue in years to come and making sure we are sustainable there and we build an amazing company there. Like the short term literally doesn't matter at all.
All right, that's very reaffirming to hear, I have to say. I think it's good for us to bring those stories out a bit like we're doing now, so people understand our position in that as well. So that addresses the concerns around the community edition. Now, the other thing we heard from a lot of people is that they feel it's kind of unfair to charge for executions if you're already paying for the hardware. So let's dive into that a little and see, like, how did we arrive at that conclusion, and why do we feel that's a good way to charge?
Sure, yeah. First, I totally understand it partly, but honestly, we always had this also before already. We charge per active workflow. I think it's not too different. Like if you have one big workflow active or 100, the more execution you probably have, and the more execution you have, the more hardware you need. I think the relationship was always there. Now, it's again, I agree, it's more direct than it was before, but I think it was always the case. But I think more importantly, I think it's important to point out that servers are very cheap these days. Like we have people literally running 1 million executions a month on a DigitalOcean instance for $5. So what's expensive to create is to build n8n to kind of continuously improve the product and provide the support. We are still losing money right now, which is obviously hopefully going to change at some point. But it's like creating n8n, like I said, all of these people, they are not for free. You need a lot of resources there. I think it's fair to ask an organization if they get a lot of value out of n8n to pay for that value. And if you have millions of executions, I would expect that there's a lot of value there and that pays for it. And even if these companies don't pay like $5, maybe if they pay 20, 100, or even $500 for DigitalOcean, AWS, or whatever, I would say it's again. I think it's a very fair amount considering the kind of value they're getting out of it. Because I think where the value is coming from is not from the hardware. It's from n8n, and I think what would empower people to do.
Maybe the impression is that if you run n8n at that kind of scale, you need to have a very complicated setup and a team of people to support it. And at that point, it's more the people that become expensive than the hardware, I suppose.
Yeah, but I think it really depends on the scale. Like I literally had n8n obviously running for years on my own server, and literally the only thing I had to do is kind of update the version number in my Docker Compose setup. I think again, if you have a scaling setup, it's a little bit more work involved there. But again, I think generally n8n is reasonable, simple to work with. Again, I agree that there is definitely some cost involved there. But again, I think it's still a subset of the kind of time and resources and money you're putting into. That's why I think while I can understand the hardware argument partly, and again, people complain mainly about the hardware rather than I think the running it part, but maybe also saw that wrong. Again, that's why I think the hardware argument is not totally valid because hardware is just so cheap these days.
Okay. Yeah. And so for now, the business plan is only on self-hosted. I suppose we'll be bringing it to cloud as well, right?
Yes, and there's definitely some technical. It's not that easy on the technical side of things, even so it sometimes seems that way. But we're working hard behind the scenes in making sure like the functionality also becomes available also in our cloud setup as well.
All right. So obviously, our cloud is a little bit more complicated than a single server running n8n for people. So that makes sense. Yes. Okay. And so my next question is like, why did we make these changes? You already answered a lot of these things. So you talked about why we don't want to limit the number of active workflows and executions is better. Did we also look at other options like number of active users or anything like that?
Yes. Also, maybe first again, like I think, to be honest, like we will probably never have the perfect pricing. As like, I think honestly, like the current pricing isn't perfect, but I think they're kind of you can kind of divide workflows probably in different groups, like how often they execute, how much value each execution brings or business value it brings. And I think like our previous pricing was, for example, great if you have like a workflow that provided a lot of value and it executed a lot. But our previous pricing was very bad if you had like very few executions and the workflow didn't provide as much value that it was worth paying for that. It means like we excluded a lot of use cases there. And that is also something we heard a lot from our enterprise clients. So they said, hey, like, honestly, it doesn't make sense. Again, I want to make sure people build as much as possible. And you limiting us didn't really make any sense at all. And then, again, I think no matter what we charge by, we're going to cause problems one way or the other, and we limit something. I think that's not great, but honestly, I don't have the solution. I think we could obviously charge by something like number of users. But again, then what would happen? I guess either people create only one single user, they let everything run over that, or we have to make users crazy expensive. Or again, what also happens very often is that even large organizations don't need crazy amounts of users. Like you can have literally a huge organization have hundreds of workflows and billions of executions, but you maybe not only need like a team of 3. And obviously, but we have to be sure, like obviously, if the biggest organizations in the world, like the Fortune 500, don't pay us, I don't know, 100K, a few hundred K, or a million, like we're not going to be able to build a sustainable business. Then obviously you can charge per feature, but like how much would we charge for feature-like environments? Would we pay $500 or $1,000? Again, same problem like before. We couldn't build a sustainable business for the pricing point. So we would end up charging like 10K or 100K, but again, it would price out smaller orgs. So again, no matter which, and also again, also important to point out again, like having an org with 1 workflow or 1,000 workflows or 100 executions, a billion executions, like the value for this kind of feature makes, again, it has to be kind of tied to that somehow as well. So I think like no more, what we would have to do is almost like we would have to charge per feature, but again, then based on the company size to make it work for small and large orgs. We still have to be kind of the usage component in as well. And it means like it gets then quite messy and complicated. And you still have then people wondering why a large organization saying, hey, why do I pay for the same feature 10 times X as the small organization, 100 times X than the other one? And I also want to point out is like, we invested a lot of time in pricing and packaging. It's like a very hard and complex topic. We literally spent months on it. Like we worked with an external pricing agency, we had countless interviews, we had internal meetings and discussions about it, like a lot. And I think it's like maybe people think, hey, we went in a room for 5 minutes and said, hey, that's the right thing. It's like we put a lot of thinking behind it. And then I'm sure, like, again, no matter, as I mentioned before, like no matter what we charge by, there's going to be other issues. They're not saying like we are now at the perfect end state. I think pricing and packaging is always like an evolution. We start with something and then we iterate again. We had obviously before we charge per weekly active workflows. I'm not saying we forever will charge per executions on there's some things will not change. Again, we're learning now, we're improving. That's why all of your feedback is obviously very welcome, very helpful. Just so we can iterate there. Again, our pricing will always evolve. And again, also thanks to your feedback and also how we obviously see the adoption of the product in these organizations and generally in the community.
Perfect. Yeah. That all makes a lot of sense to me. It sounds to me like we, as you said, we did a lot of research. We looked at how people use n8n and made sure to find the right spot on like what we feel is a fair way to price it. And of course, there's always people that fall a bit outside of that area, right? You can never make everyone happy, but I know we do try to.
Yeah, I think that the problem is like the more adoption you get, like the more problems of the party causes, because again, if you have 100 users and like one person is doing something differently, then it's 1%. If you have a million users, then suddenly 1% is actually a lot of people that again means like even if you would make 99% of the people happy, it would still be a lot of people that would be very unhappy. And it doesn't mean we shouldn't try to make everybody happy, but again, just looking at people, again, we have people. There's not just actually people having some workflows with one execution and one with a lot of execution. We even have people, for example, running n8n only manually. They build like a big workflow and then run it only once a month and press the button. But we don't charge for that at all, even though a lot of value is obviously in those workflows as well. We know like no matter what we charge by, it's not going to cover like the full value for us. And then we also know no matter what we do, it's not going to be perfect for our customers. In the end, you have to kind of find a balance between both of them. It's never going to be perfect, but again, we try to get as close to perfect as possible.
Yeah. And so you already said like we're listening carefully, we're reading all the feedback, or we're doing sessions like this. So it's really good. And I'm really happy that you took the time to talk to our community about this as well. So yeah, we'll keep doing that, and we'll keep learning and improving and seeing if this is the right thing to do, right? So I think that's the conclusion of today. We're doing our best.
Yeah, definitely. And again, just for me, it's just as important that people know, like, we are, I think, a very value-driven organization. It always made me sad when people think we're kind of trying to kind of optimize our revenues now. Like, we literally want to build a sustainable company. It's a generation company that's going to stay around for a long time, where we can support the product. That's why we make those decisions, not to kind of optimize now for our short-term revenues there at all.
Perfect. Well, I think that's a great way to wrap this up, Jan. Thanks so much for your time. And yeah, my team and I will keep looking at what the community is saying, and we'll make sure you hear about it as well. And I hope I'll get you back on the show again later this year.
Oh, happy to. Thanks all. Bye.
Karen. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so let me go to the next section of today's live stream, which is the community updates hosted by me. So next up, I would like to introduce a couple of new team members. So in our last show in June, I introduced Dylan to you. Dylan is our community manager located in Los Angeles, and I will be sharing some of his work later as well. But we have no less than 3 new faces for you today, and I will bring them in one by one, and they can introduce themselves. So let's start with Adeline. Hey,
Hi, everyone.
How are you?
Start. All right. It's a bit intimidating, pretty exciting as well. But yeah, hi, everyone. So I'm Adeline. I'm based in the south of France. So I joined actually n8n back in June, and I started working on n8n Fest, the community celebration we organized in Berlin in July, and our presence, our We Are developers as well. So just for context, I didn't have a recent photo to provide for the presentation. So instead you see what I used to do in my old job, doing photo shoots in museums, so very different world from n8n. And so some of the projects I'm involved with at the moment, I'm one of the people behind the community newsletter. So we sent the August newsletter just last week. And I'm also working with Dylan on the creator program. So we're putting together a project to help support our YouTube creators with making more content about n8n. And the n8n starter sessions. So we're partnering with Amal, who's one of our community wizards, to deliver 7 workshops across Europe and the US. We're starting things next week in Amsterdam. But I won't tell you too much about it because Amal is actually coming on the live stream later on to tell you more information. So that's me.
Yeah, and I want to add that Adeline joined us just a few weeks before n8n Fest, and we are developers, so she was thrown very much into the deep end of things, and we were so happy to have her on board because there was so much work to be done.
Baptism through fire.
It was crazy few weeks, yes. All right, Adeline, thanks. I'm sure we'll see you around here in the future as well.
Thanks.
Bye. All right, our next team member is Melinda. Hello, Melinda. How are you?
Hey, Bert.
I'm
good. How are you? Hi, everyone.
So, Melinda, who are you and what are you doing on the community team for us?
So I'm Melinda. I joined n8n actually last month, and I work on daily operations, social media, and the ambassador program. This photo was actually taken on my 4th day, which 4th day on the job, and first week at n8n as attending the VIA Developer Conference. I'm originally from Hungary, but I've been living in Berlin for the last 4 years. And before joining n8n, I worked with several startups in Germany, mostly in community management and communications. And yeah, I'm really excited to be here, learn from all of you, and make the community strong and thrive.
And Melinda is super good on social media as well. So if you're talking to us there, you'll be talking to her most of the time. And she's involved in our secret project, which I will share you a little bit about later as well. All right. Thanks,
exciting.
Melinda. We'll see you again soon. Great. Bye.
Thank you, Bert.
Great. All right. And then the last new team member is not really a new team member.
Also in the elevator.
Tino? Also,
Also in the
we love
elevator.
elevators. Yes.
I just realized that it was actually Melinda's 4th day at We Are Developers. We're so sorry, Melinda.
Tino,
Crazy.
why are you not really a new team member? What happened?
What
are you
happened? What
doing?
happened? I joined the ambassador program, I would say, a year ago or so.
Yeah.
And roughly 6 months ago, I joined the team thinking that we're going to do a couple of events together, looking at a couple of hackathons. And a couple of hours a week turned into a couple of hours a day, turned into joining the team full time.
Yeah. So Tina started as a contractor in March of this year, I think. Something like that.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Yeah, typical n8n style that blew up from a few hours to more than full time, I would say by now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, my name's Tino, based in Utrecht. Used to be based in Amsterdam. So if you're ever around Amsterdam or Utrecht, come and say hi to me somewhere. Got a background in doing events, running communities, and running social enterprises. And at some point, I got in touch with Bart, talking about how do we build good communities, how do we scale communities, and how can we leverage ambassadors to do cool stuff all around the world. Within n8n, I'm responsible for the events and the ambassador program.
Right, that's a great bridge to our next slide, Tino.
Absolutely, what a coincidence.
Yes. All right, take it away.
Awesome. So it has been a long time coming, and we are finally releasing the new version of the ambassador program. It's been a program that we, like I said, launched a little over a year ago. I think we onboarded about 45 people, and we kind of ran some trials with that. Now we are preparing it to really scale things up. And with now, I mean, I published a Notion page about 40 minutes ago. So we're totally ready for new applications. To give you a bit more context about the n8n ambassador program, ambassadors for us are the local champions that run cool events, cool workshops, and cool gatherings. And a meetup can be anything from some pizza, beer, and knowledge sharing to a mini hackathon, or if you want to go wild, a full-size conference. We're scaling things up. And when we're saying we're scaling things up, we're talking about multiple events a day all across the globe. So there's a lot of events coming, quite likely nearby you, and we need help for that. So if you are super excited about n8n, if you've been using it for more than a year and are willing to help us organize cool events, go to n8n.io/ambassadors and take a peek and sign up.
And I think it's good to mention also that like we really appreciate people helping us run these events, but we will help you run them as well. So we'll provide support, we'll provide like guidance and ideas, as well as financial support. So if you need to pay a bit for a venue or get some drinks and snacks, etc., we've got you covered, right? So we'll
help you out.
Yeah, we want to make sure everyone is having a good time. So we're taking care of that. And also we're looking for people around the world. We, as a company, we have a strong focus on Europe and North America, but we know that communities all around the world are starting to rise. I have a few nice examples of that later as well. And so, yeah, if you are in Africa, South America, Asia, don't hesitate, just like sign up as well. We'll be growing this program across the entire world. So there will be something near you in, well, later next year. Yeah, something like that.
I just want to point out, if you are super excited about n8n and you want to share that excitement with the people around you, then the ambassador program is really, really the place to go. We love excitement, and we're more than happy to help you share it.
Yeah. It's also like there's also an internal community of ambassadors. So we have a Slack channel where everyone gets together and they can exchange experiences and work on their new ideas. One final thing I think we should mention is we have a backlog in applications. So if you already applied over the last couple of months, we will contact you again and ask you to reapply on the new system, so that everyone is like in the same workflow, and then we can really start getting people on board and active. And we're looking forward to seeing all these events and traveling to a couple of them ourselves as well. So we will probably meet a lot of your people next year as well.
Quite likely. Yes, looking forward to it.
Brilliant. All right, Tino. Thanks so much, man.
Thanks, Bart.
See you later. Bye. All right. So we just talked about ambassadors, and I've brought a couple of events examples here of what happened in July and August. So we had events in Germany, in Dortmund in this case. This was run by Ambassador Friedemann Schütz. And it's interesting because we were focused very much on Berlin for a while, but now we have a couple of ambassadors in different areas of Germany as well. And we see many more events starting to pop up there. So that's very satisfying for us to see. I know that Friedemann is active in the tourism industry, and he threw like a hackathon there as well, which was more focused, and that drew quite a few people. So super cool event. We also had an event in Rio de Janeiro run by two ambassadors, Hugo Perez and Luis Fonseca. Actually, Luis is usually active in Sao Paulo, so that's a couple of hours from Rio. But they threw a successful event in Rio together, which we really like seeing people collaborating on these kind of things. Next up, and this was a first for us, there was an event in South Africa, in Kenya, in Nairobi actually, run by Zakaria Kimoto, who is not an ambassador, but he is someone we know very well. Zakaria is super active on LinkedIn, and we've been in touch a lot of times as well. And so we already started promoting his events and supporting them as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if he is an ambassador soon as well. So you could see many more activities pop up in South Africa, which would be great. And then some team events. So as I mentioned, we now have Dylan on the West Coast, and Dylan has been on a rampage. He's been doing, I think, like 6 or 7 events over 2 months, including meetups and hackathons in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego. And he has another event coming up tomorrow, which is going to be huge as well. So I think this is an example of like how full our event calendar is starting to look, and how successful everything is starting to become. So upcoming stuff, as I mentioned, tomorrow Dylan is doing another meetup in San Francisco. He already has 550 RSVPs, so it's kind of insane, Dylan. I don't know how you do it, man, but it's fantastic. Then we have an event in Lahore in India, hosted by a community member as well. Not an ambassador, but still something we are excited to support. We are going to be starting the n8n starter sessions, and that is the project that we were talking about with Adeline earlier, and Imal will join us in a second to talk more about this. And then we have a special event coming up in New York City that I'll talk a bit more about after this. 2 events actually. We have a meetup, and we're doing the AI Arena. And then in September, there is an event coming up in Vienna. But before I go to that, quick word about the New York meetup. This is an official n8n event. So we recently opened an office in New York, and we felt we should throw a little party. It's not at the office. It's not big enough for that, but we found a really cool venue. It has a rooftop bar. There's about 200 people coming from what I can see so far. Multiple team members flying in from Europe as well to join the festivities. Jan will be there. Tino will be there. So you can meet a lot of team there. For all these things, if you want to join them, go to n8n.io/community/events to see our event calendar. Now, the other thing I want to mention is the AI Arena. This is Max's latest project. He is traveling to New York to do a live event, and he shared a video with me to share with you guys. So here we go.
Esports meets AI and automation. How does it work? Nate and Jack will compete in a series of challenges where they have to build AI agents based on a brief that we assign them. They then have a timed building session to build their creation based on that brief. After the time runs out, Dr. Pure Eval takes the official eval set and runs an eval on each player's creation. Pass an eval test, get a point. Fail an eval test, no point. The player with the most points wins a $10,000 cash prize. The goal isn't the perfect workflow. It's to use your skills under pressure and do better than your opponent. Make sure to RSVP on the Luma event page. From there, we're going to share the YouTube Premiere link once it drops and share behind the scenes updates as we produce the very first Agentic Arena.
Yep. sorry, once is probably enough. So yeah, if you're in New York and you want to join this event, take a look at our event calendar, and I think there's still a couple of seats left. There's a live audience. Max has bought a fantastic suit, so make sure you're gonna see that and meet everyone at this party. Next up, I have another guest. Let's bring him in. It's Emal. I'm gonna enlarge you a little bit. Hey, Emal, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. Thank you.
Yeah. Everyone, like one thing you should know: Emal had an e-scooter accident 2 weeks ago, and he's still recovering. I think you have some surgery tomorrow, actually, right on your mouth. Yeah.
Yes, the last one. Hopefully, I'm gonna have my smile back tomorrow, so I won't be covering my mouth like this.
Brilliant. Yes, I have made a special note to not make him laugh today, so it's
yeah, indeed. When I laughed, because I broke my jaw and everything, it hurts. Still, it hurts. Doctor said in a week or two it should be okay.
All right, man. Well, fantastic that you are here anyway. So let's talk a bit about the n8n starter sessions. What are we gonna do together, Emal?
We're gonna get n8n to the world. So the third session is basically what I started or inspired from what I started on 15th of March 2025, not knowing a lot about how to manage a community, getting into big room upstairs in this co-working space, having like 75 people show up, and I'm the only one doing the cameras, doing everything, and I end up having a lot of taps on my shoulder that I did it good. And now we're going to kind of like bake that into a very condensed afternoon, 4 hours session in total, where you get experience on hands-on experience with n8n, literally from signing up to building the entire workflow, from literally not knowing anything and then walking out to it. The knowledge that you need to get and start learning more on that and build your own n8n workflows.
Fantastic. So it's like, to be clear, these are in-person events. We are traveling around Europe. We're going to the United States. I'll have the program for you later. And you will get some hands-on experience. You have experienced teachers. There's an area where you can try out different workflows that are like prepared for you. This is very much a beginner's activity, right? It's not for advanced users.
That's absolutely right. So for advanced users, I personally, as my ambassador, or keeping my ambassador badge, I will be pushing a lot of advanced material, masterclasses, and so on. But this particular workshop is in person, and also it's extremely for like starters. If you don't know what is an n8n or what is an AI agent and how can you do AI automation, how can you bring it in your organization, how can you convince your boss to sign on that contract to get your n8n licenses, and kind of like, as I call it, gateway drug to automation. So you get this and then you literally will not sleep, you'll even see it in your dreams.
Yeah. And so maybe to position this, we are doing a series of 7 workshops right now with Emal and this new company that is focusing on providing n8n education. And we are planning to scale that up after we've done the trial. So we want to go to more cities. We want to expand the program from being like beginner only to offering more advanced courses as well. So this is just the very first test that we're trying to do. And we have pretty big plans, right?
I hope so.
That makes sense. Yes. So just to quickly walk through the program, it starts at 4 p.m. by welcoming everyone, and then there's an hour and a half long like hands-on workshop with live demos, and you can actually try out your own workflows, etc. Bit of a break, and then there's an hour and a half like live building demo. So that's not hands-on, but it's showing you some slightly more advanced use cases that would be like too complicated to do in one evening, I suppose, right?
Absolutely. So the format that I run consists of 2 different types: a workshop hands-on and a masterclass. So this experience you'll get will be a combination of both. Before the break, we will do a hands-on experience. You will sign up, you'll bring your laptops, you'll open them. There will be some laptops provided from our side in a corner, which you can use during the breaks. But it's better to bring your own laptop. And then we build a few simple automation workflows, and I explain nitty-gritty details about n8n, and I believe after that you will know your way around n8n, and you can create new workflows either by watching some more content on YouTube or literally by reading it. That's the main outcome that I would like to do, like show you the skeleton of n8n and basically the basic principles so that you can understand how n8n under the hood works. Then we take a small break, and then we go extremely deep in hands-on building. I will be building something live, explaining it. It will be live streamed and it will be recorded, so you will not miss a bit of it. And I will be documenting the entire journey step by step so that you can, when you go home and watch again that, then you can do that hands-on, the second part.
Perfect. Yeah. And then we still have time for some drinks and networking and fun. And that's it. Yeah. And so to give everyone an idea, this is the schedule that we have prepared. So our first event is going to be next week, next Wednesday, right? And it's going to be in Amsterdam. You will meet Adeline and me there as well. And after that, we're traveling to Barcelona, San Francisco, Paris, Frankfurt, New York, and London. And at each of these events, we will have a few n8n team members present as well. So you can always meet us and ask us like questions around that, around n8n if you want. I just got a message. It's on Thursday. Yes, originally it was Wednesday, 27th in Amsterdam, but we pushed it to Thursday. So sorry about that. But yeah, and we will live stream this first one. The link will be shared early next week. We will not stream every session, but we're experimenting with the best way to do it. But we will provide recordings as well, so people at home can follow along. But ideally, we should have a session near you soon. Right. Looking at the clock, Emil, I need to move on, but thanks so much for joining us, even in your current condition. And I hope everything goes well tomorrow and we'll meet. Fine.
Thank you so much. See you guys now.
Take care, man. Bye. All right. Super cool. We are all really, really excited about this. So a few other quick updates. The secret event that Melinda is working on. This is a bit of a sneak peek. We're still confirming last details, but it's going to be pretty big one for us. It's going to be in Berlin, first week of October, more than 10 speakers, super awesome location, many team members present, obviously, since it's in Berlin. So keep your eyes on our social media. We expect to announce something in the next couple of weeks, and we hope to see you there. Then, as always, quick update on our hiring. We are looking for lots of engineers. So we're looking for AI engineers, full stack people, growth engineers, and also people for a community software engineering role who are helping us review inbound PRs by community, etc. Then more support people, a creative lead for the marketing team, and many, many roles in the sales team as well. So if there's something here that you like, or if you think n8n could be a cool company for you to join, take a look at n8n.io/careers. And, maybe you are on this show next time. You never know. Things can move pretty fast. I think that wraps up my part. So I'd like to welcome Desiree, who is one of our product marketing managers. And Desiree, I heard you are struggling a bit with your connection today.
On most days, but yeah, if I disconnect, I'll try to come right back.
All right. So it looks fine right now, but everyone knows it might be a bit choppy today. What are you going to tell us today?
Thank you. Yes, I'm going to provide some product updates. I am a senior product marketing manager for the adoption, the AI, and the nodes team. I'm a total introvert, but Bart twisted my arm to get me here. You should all know that I'm shaking like a leaf behind this desk, but I'm faking it till I make it. So if you are also an introvert, maybe I can give you hope or courage.
Just ignore 1,100 people watching this, right? It's fine.
Hey, don't, Bart.
Don't worry, Desiree, we'll get you through this.
Okay.
Shall I go to your first?
Before I do that, I did want to quickly plug an online challenge that we're having right now. It is on Dev and it's with Bright Data and it's about real-time AI agents. And if you want to check that out, just go to dev.to and you should be able to find our, oh, thanks. That was fast. Had to do my little plug. All right.
Dev.to. What can you win, Desiree?
Oh gosh, there is up to 5 winners can take home $1,000 each in prize money. But also you'll learn how to make amazing real-time agents. And so everybody wins. And I think also everyone participating gets like $250 in Bright Data credits. So it'll be great to try that node out, try that service out.
All right. So people head to dev.to and they will find details on the real-time AI agent challenge there. Perfect. All right. Thanks for mentioning this.
All right, let's get into the product updates.
You ready?
Yeah, we might have done a few things. We might have done a few things in the last few months to help us all Flowgram more productively. So first, just a few things like archive. If you have ever lost a workflow, you're probably pretty excited to see that we have, you can now archive rather than permanently delete. And this makes just self-serve recovery so much easier. So appreciate that coming on. You can open up sub workflows a lot faster. You might not have known this, but you can now click on that sub workflow node. And right click on it, you'll see a way to open those up, or you can just use any of the commands you see on the screen here.
I did not know that.
I know. See, I put it on here. I was like, do I put it on here? Yes, of course. These are helpful tips that
amazing.
You might,
yes, thank you. Yeah.
You might not have known about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about auto naming nodes? Like this is one that's just happening behind the scenes, but you might have noticed now we're naming nodes based on the resource and the operation that selected. But don't worry, if you have named the node, this will not touch anything that the users have actually named. And this is actually particularly helpful in like tool calling, so we can make sure that we have useful names for tools. The extended logs view. I think this is one of the most exciting things, and you guys are probably using it and enjoying it, but I just wanted to call it out. You can now, from that bottom of the canvas, you have a place that's sort of always on. And it shows each step in your workflow like, as it's happening. It even includes sub workflows, and you can drill into them. A couple delighters, you can find a token count in there as well. So just a lot less clicking and less context switching when you are debugging.
This one is super useful. This was like the log view for AI agents first, right? And now it expanded to all the nodes and workflows. So.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Yep, you can dig in right from there. So that's an exciting one.
Cool.
The team added a RAG starter template. So this actually has 2 flows on it and uses our simple vector store, and one is to load and the other one is to query. And what I love is it's super easy to find this and play around and search for it. Just go to the nodes panel and actually search for the RAG starter template, and you can insert that really quickly and give it a try. The convert to sub workflow. This is a crowd pleaser here. It actually just makes it so easy to use sub workflows here. All you have to do is highlight the nodes, right click those nodes, and that will kick off a few things. It will open up a new tab. It will add all those nodes to the new tab with the parameters intact. That saves a ton of work. And then it's going to replace those nodes in your original workflow with the sub workflow, or call my sub workflow node. So just like a huge time saver. If you are, you have any, there's a lot of reasons that you might want to use sub workflows. One is if you're reusing that sub workflow all the time. So this just makes it super easy. It can also make your workflows a little bit more performant too. So definitely something to check out, especially now that it's so easy.
I also really like how this encourages like clean development, right? Like splitting up your workflow, your monster workflows into many smaller ones.
Ooh, more on that with the agents soon. But
we've never seen these things on LinkedIn where people post workflows of 500 nodes, and like everyone on the team is like, no, please don't do that. That's wild. Yeah, this is the reverse thing. Okay, shall I go to your next slide?
Yeah, let's go to the next one. All right, this next one is enterprise. This is not my area of expertise, but Lucas is on vacation, so I'm just going to do my best to try to do it some justice here. I think the last time we were on a community call, somebody introduced the Insights dashboard, which is pretty exciting. But since then, we've added the ability for project admins to commit workflow and credential changes via environments feature. And then this is great because now product admins get control over committing their changes. You can now use OpenID Connect as an authentication method for single sign-on. And let's see, you can now enforce 2FA for all users on your instance. And then once enabled, the users aren't going to be able to log into n8n until they actually complete the setup. And let's see, we made it easier to audit the user activity, identify inactive accounts, and understand how access is distributed across your instances. And this is kind of a table layout view where you can actually get more details. You can see your total users, you can filter by name, email, active date, and also just like make sure that everybody has actually enabled their 2FA.
Sounds very good.
All right, that's it for the hard part. Okay, let's go back.
You made it through. Congratulations. All right, the cool
All
stuff.
right.
Yeah.
So much fun stuff in AI that just came. So I'm super excited about this. I think last time when we met together in April, we talked about MCP client tool and the MCP server nodes. So don't forget about those if you haven't played with those yet. But since then, we've actually got partial execution for AI tools. So absolutely amazing. If you are testing changes and you do not want to do a full agent run, now you can just do just the tool run. And this is going to reduce your AI calls. This is going to make iteration faster and really more cost efficient. So that's an exciting one. Next, evaluations for AI workflows. I don't know. I'm super passionate about this one because everybody who has a production workflow in AI should absolutely be using these. And even pre-production, I think it's great. It can really help you fine-tune your AI before you put it into production. So evaluations came out. It really helps you track reliability over time. It can really help you make data-driven decisions on things like, hey, which model should I be using? Is it more cost-effective? If you make a change to your prompt, you can use these evaluations to determine whether that prompt was a good thing or if you should go another route. So that's just love this feature. And then since we released it, we actually made it even easier. So now we actually also have a built-in metrics. So if you tried it out when it came out, maybe you were using some workflows on the side, but we now have a lot of the common stuff like helpfulness, string similarity, tools used. We have all of those available built in, so it's actually much easier. And then we made some super exciting UX changes as well. So if you drill into your evaluations, tab, you will also be able to see your inputs and your outputs right next to your metric scores, so you can really drill in. And that's just like super helpful when you're making prompt changes. So definitely please check that one out. Model selector node. Okay, so now you're going to have just more control if you're using multiple LLMs, and you'll be able to implement your model your model routing strategies a lot easier using this node. And you might do that based on performance, what tasks they're doing, the cost, or the availability of the model. So check that one out.
And this is in addition to the default model fallback that we added
Yes.
as well, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So that a lot more flexibility there then. Awesome.
Yep. Let's see. Chat streaming. Okay. So this one's an easy one to miss. So I just want to let everybody know that streaming is now available. You can configure it from the chat trigger, the webhook node, or the AI agent node. And this is just, it gives users the experience that they expect. Now, I'm not sure if this has changed, but I think if you're like on the canvas and you're trying this, you might not see it in the Canvas view. So make sure that you're actually checking that that link to see that it's working. So, all right, respond to chat. Another crowd pleaser. Love this one. This just makes chat. This opens up.
This one, sorry, I got the wrong video.
That's all right. This just opens up a whole bunch of new capabilities. Adds human in the loop capabilities to chat, makes chat more interactive, enables conversational experiences. So essentially, like within your chat and the same execution, you can ask for clarification. The AI can request approval before taking the next action. Imagine making a conversational form, do like branching logic based on user replies. It just really helps like keep people in the center of the AI experience. So I'm excited to see what you guys do with this one. I know the product team is too. Like, what are they going to do with this? Okay. The AI, see, there's so much stuff. Like I'm getting parched here. So much fun stuff with AI. So the AI agent tool node. All right, I know this is amazing. So this just makes our multi-agent architecture simplified, like so much simplified. So now you can put multiple agents directing other agents on the same canvas. They can do their business in one execution. This is going to make debugging a bit more straightforward. You can add multiple layers of agents directing other agents. We don't know what the limit is. If anybody's tried a lot, we'd just love to hear about it. Really, this also helps you just split out those long, complex prompts into smaller, more focused agents. So. Yeah. A couple other things I wanted to note. Just don't forget we've added an Anthropic and a Gemini node. So you can add that advanced AI reasoning with Claude, analyze audio, video, like documents, images with Google Gemini. So just like, this is huge. Lots going on. So everybody, just do not forget to update. Always update to the latest version of n8n so you can always get access to the latest features.
And that reminds me, we now have that nice little pop-up on the canvas that notifies you when there's an update, and you can click on it to see like the main changes. So it's way easier to track what's new in n8n and if it's time for you to update or not.
Well, thanks for having me on, Bart. I appreciate it.
Not the most fancy feature, but one I am very excited about myself. So yes. All right, Desiree, fantastic. Your internet connection survived.
Great.
Great having
My
you here
nerves
today.
barely survived. I'm gonna go cry in a pillow or something.
Don't worry, this was great. The update was amazing, and I saw a lot of excited comments. So yeah, and we did have a lot to catch up because we skipped a few shows. Next month we'll be bringing a product manager back in to talk about upcoming stuff. So that's going to be exciting to know what we're working on right now. All right, that's great. Thanks, and I will see you again soon. Bye.
Thanks, Bart.
Right, everyone, that brings us to the end of today's show. I just have one final thing to share, and that is the QR code of the after party. So if you want, you can select that link, head to bit.ly/n8n-after-party or scan the QR code. And we'll be hanging out there for a bit longer to just chat with everyone, see how you're doing, see what you're working on, maybe answer a few questions. And if nothing else, we'll see you again next month. So thanks so much for joining, and see you again soon.